All right, we are live. Or what? Yep, we're going. Hey, everybody.
Well,
welcome to the CHRILLCAST. Chris is currently a black screen. And we have a special guest. Let him introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. I'm a special Microsoft fanboy. You can tell I'm a Microsoft fanboy by my infamous hoodie, my infamous hat, my Bloodborne hoodie, and my PlayStation 20th anniversary T-shirt, just so I can talk about Halo. So clearly, I'm on brand today.
I'm disgusted.
Sorry. I guess I should actually say my
I'm infinitely disgusted. I am infinitely disgusted.
All right, Chris, do you want to start this off as a black screen?
Can you guys literally not see me? Hold on.
No, I can't.
It is showing up on my end.
There you go.
I'd say
just stick with audio. We can just like draw in like paint.
Am I here now?
Yeah. Well, you're here, just not video. You here?
Yeah, exactly.
Am I really not video?
I don't see you on YouTube either.
It says
it's just.
Oh, now you're back.
There you are.
All right, whatever. We'll just roll.
It's so much worse. Go back to the black screen.
Do it live. All right, I'm Chris from the CHRILLCAST, and today I have no power, no internet, so just bear with us with this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's saying anything.
Nope, I'm not going to. I'm just watching you go in and out.
It was either do the show today, or we delay it a year, and everyone on the internet makes fun of us. So clearly, we chose not to do the Halo Infinite.
We wanted to be topical.
Just push on through.
Yep. All right. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is how I finally got my Steelbook edition of Halo Infinite. Oh, so nice.
So, Will, I gotta ask your and Chris's opinions. Do you guys like this Steelbook? I also bought this.
Kinda. It's kind of a weird thing because this is like the Steelbooks that you would like buy separately at like Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I don't know. It doesn't feel like a special edition. That makes sense. Like there's no like art book or anything.
That's like the closest thing to which is weird because I don't think Microsoft never actually officially announced it. I think it just was a thing that just showed up at retail one day. But yeah, the Walmart Collector's Edition is like unofficially official, but at least this was like made by Microsoft. So this is the weird thing about it. I wonder if that was a super last minute decision to make that Steelbook. Because originally I remember telling Chris when it got announced, I was like, oh, this is the pre-order bonus. I thought all physical copies were going to have the Steelbook because let's be honest, with this being on Game Pass, this is probably going to be one of the lowest printed Halo games. Because of so many people.
For sure.
And so my whole thing with it was, this is going to be the day one edition to entice everybody. And then fast forward to launch day. So both of you had it pre-ordered, I assume, right?
Yes.
That's correct.
So at least around here, unless you went to a GameStop, no retail store had any of these. Like every place just had a random plastic box edition. There was no Steelbook versions at Walmart, Target, and GameStop only had a couple. And that was mostly for people who reserved them. So clearly there were not a ton of these. I know producing Steelbooks is a huge pain in the butt right now with everything going on. But what's so funny about it is I kind of get why they didn't boast about it. Like I think this is the rare case of a Steelbook that looks beautiful in pictures online. Because when you're looking at it in person, please tell me I'm not crazy. Well, if you can show yours, because mine's all the way in the living room. If you can show it like head on directly to the camera, Master Chief is like it's like shadowed out, but it's too glossy head on. If you tilt it, it looks great. Like off camera,
you are totally right.
Awesome. And like when I saw it in person, I'm like, how do you do that? Like, how do you make it so it looks good, not directly eye contact? Like, so it's so strange about like, and it's not like it's a one-off error. Every Steelbook looks like this, so it's at least not. It's not Halo 2 levels of ugly, because that's just a really boring Steelbook.
Yeah,
although I think that one gets nostalgia points for being so old in Halo 2. It's also at least better than Halo 5 for not being super chunky and not coming with a disc or a disc slot. I guess actually no, it did not come with a disc.
The Halo 5 one is so weird because it comes with that like statue.
Well, actually, you know what's a weird thing? I remembered this today. the Halo 5 Special Edition system. If you guys remember when Halo 5 launched, there was the Special Edition system, and they made a Chief and Locke controller, like a matching pair. It's a his and hers. Those look gorgeous, by the way. Like I remember looking at them because I got a copy of Halo 5 because who else is buying that in 2021? I bought those and there's advertisements for them. And what's funny is the system came with a digital code and the Steelbook. An empty Steelbook with your special edition system. And it was just super, super weird. But
really?
Yeah, if you look at it's on the cover, it comes with a download copy of 5 and an empty Steelbook. So it's really weird because like that Steelbook is really hideous. Like it's not pretty. It's really thick. It's like a giant like chunk. It's like a case you'd put a case in. But no, so like it's at least like it's nice that it's that. I didn't have to pay anything extra, even though literally I didn't need to buy the game because as we'll probably get into later, I bought the Xbox. A week ago, I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, I can't justify this Xbox. It's a lot. There's other things I should spend that money on, and bad decisions prevailed, and we're now living in this world. Here, we're gonna turn off the do.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see it.
So now
you should just send that to me for free.
Chris, you have explained to me. Here we go. Let's turn off the virtual background. Boop. Also, Chris, if you stay in audio mode, I've noticed your quality sounds way better for your audio. So here's the system.
My quality is better for audio.
Yeah, way better if it's just audio only. If you've ever seen a Series X, this is the back of it. And if you go to Facebook Marketplace or eBay, as I've done a lot over the last month.
Yeah, you've frozen for a second.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you're frozen on YouTube too.
You actually did. I thought it was just me.
I did change my camera thing here. Let me put it on and off. Any better?
Nope.
Wow. I turn off the background, and that makes it worse. Who would have thought?
And the camera goes away.
Wow, I don't know what to say.
Well, either way, if you've seen the
back now.
I think
now it is. Okay, so if you've seen the back of a Series X, every Series X has this Power Your Dreams with Master Chief, even the Special Edition. So if you go to someone's trying to sell it, they're just showing the back of the box.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like it's because a normal Xbox Series X will already get you like a little bit of money, but like this is like the limited edition of the new systems and stuff. So it's just really, really funny. And just because I hate myself even more, I even got this on the exact same day.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So we're really living our most financially unstable life tonight. So no, the funny thing is with it is I don't know if Xbox has done this for a while because like I haven't had my Xbox One since 2017. But it comes with a digital download copy, not a code, a digital download copy of Halo Infinite. There's a little voucher that looks like a do not disturb thing you'd hang on a door. And what's so funny about it is there's no code. I was like, oh, that's weird. Like I thought people were just hiding it in their unboxing videos. It's tied to the system. So when you log into the system, it's like, hey, you've got a copy of Halo Infinite. And I
cool.
Went, awesome, except I bought a physical copy.
I knew that because that's...
Yeah,
I didn't know that was going to be the case because the Xbox All Access Pass has a Game Pass subscription tied to that Xbox. So it's the same idea.
The Xbox All... Oh, yeah, the one that you can do with, like, credit. I almost got that. I was, like, this close to getting a plebeian black monolith Xbox, but I said, no, I need the glittery star one. And I will say...
So you said... You said you're going to have Will and I guess on the price you paid, right?
Yeah, so it was definitely over $550, which was MSRP. So if you guys want to guess my downfall, you're welcome. Not $900. It was lower.
Okay, $700.
Chris, I'll let you guess one more, and then I'll say.
I'm going to guess $750.
So $750 is correct. And the reason why I kind of lucked out with $750, on top of it only being $200 more, is they're usually selling at around 900 to 1,000 right now. And this was on Facebook Marketplace, which meant I just had to meet some guy in a sketchy police station and didn't have to worry about shipping it. It was actually really funny. The box like had some tears and stuff on it. And the guy was like, "Oh my god, dude, I'm so sorry. The outer box is a little scuffed." I'm like, "Bro, I'm opening this up to play it. I'm not like buying it from you to buy it off someone." I just want the thing that's in here. I don't care what condition it's in. I will say this as a lapsed Xbox person, the presentation of that box, like when you open it up, that's an experience. The way they have the Series X like packed in there, like, because it just shows you the system in the little like baggie and stuff. And just to be even more extra, I don't know if you guys have seen it, they have special star paper just for the Halo Xbox.
No, I haven't seen it. That's cool.
For like no reason. And like to be more extra as well, like the inside box is all like it like just looks like a big like happy 20th anniversary Halo thing. The thing that holds the controller even is all branded like what is it, like UNC or whatever, like the thing for Halo and whatnot. So it like completely inside and out, it's just totally branded to it in a really cool way. But I will say one of the interesting things I would have liked, actually, because I don't mind that it's tied to the system. I'm sure it makes it a lot easier for them just to like tie all of those copies onto the system. My one thing is this is like, I bought the physical because I like physical collecting and stuff. I was hoping to give it away, and there's no way to like not redeem that code. It's just like, good news, you've got a free game. Like I can't tell them, wait, I already bought it. Don't give it to me. So like, it's nice that it's always there downloaded, but it is one of those funny things of like I bought the physical edition because I wanted the Steelbook and the physical copy, which I do have, but I was just hoping to like just give it to someone else. Which like to be fair, I think to find someone who wants Halo Infinite and doesn't already own it or doesn't have Game Pass would be really hard. Agreed. So that's me ranting about my expensive Xbox day. Also, on the exact same day, I also did go. I found by some miracle my Walmart still had copies of Master Chief Collection and Halo 5.
Oh wow, okay.
Halo 5 was not even in their register anymore. They had to like do like a manual price adjustment to like find it because it's so like it's a launch copy from 6 years ago of Halo 5. I think the same for Master Chief Collection. Although I didn't notice this, but Master Chief Collection actually started rising in price again. Like the MSRP went from like 20 to 30, and even buying a digital copy is 40 now. Although I didn't know this, so both of you, do you know? Because I'm assuming you both bought Master Chief Collection at launch.
It came with my Xbox.
Oh, you got that one right?
I did not. I did not buy it at launch.
I know there was a bundle because I worked that holiday for Master Chief. Like Master Chief Collection was like the bundled Xbox One game forever. There was no like special edition for it. It was only the special edition for 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it whenever they first bundled it. That's when I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, there is a special edition of the Master Chief Collection, but it only released in like China.
I don't.
But like, is the system look the same though?
Yeah. He was talking about Steelbook.
I think it does, but it comes. No, okay. I think there's actually a Master Chief Collection Xbox that released in China.
There's a lot of Chinese exclusive systems. I know that because I almost imported a Transformers Devastation PS4 that only released in China.
Okay.
Only for the fact that it came with an exclusive Steelbook, but it was so hard to find. I had to talk myself out of it. I was like, this is so stupid, and I'm not even that big of a Transformers man baby. I just really wanted that Steelbook. But so the funny thing is that with this, so you guys know then, or did you already have Game Pass when they added ODST and Reach to MCC?
No, I think I just was given it.
Okay, so because for me, you have to buy it like DLC. Like so when you go to it in the menu, it's like buy ODST and buy Reach, which like ODST is $5 and Reach is $10. I'm like, it's a no-brainer. Like, yeah, of course. Like, I'm gonna buy it, but I just thought it was really funny.
The only version of MCC that comes with those is if you buy it on Steam as one big package, or if you bought it digitally on the Xbox. The physical version does not come with those two with it.
See, I always assumed it was just updated.
It was a gift to day one. No, it was a gift day one.
Only
purchaser.
ODST.
So like people like Will, I think got ODST for free.
Yeah, it did. As a sorry, we effed up. Which is really funny because when I first played, like the menus were garbage. I think 343 just has a thing where they make garbage menus for the first 6 months, but it was terrible. But the multiplayer never failed on me, and also I had no problems in the campaigns. So like all of those problems that people were having, I didn't have a single one. But then when they started patching everything, that's when I started experiencing problems.
So
They should just call it the Halo collection at this point because it's not just the Master Chief anymore.
Yeah, well, that's why they originally didn't launch it with ODST or Reach because it was just Master Chief Story. So like those other things were added in just as like we might as well.
Mm-hmm. But no, we should probably actually talk about Infinite. I'm really curious what you two are like thinking about it as like long time for it. I will at least say I've like every night before I go to bed, it's like my ritual. Like however far I get in Halo 1, or if I like want to like just switch back and forth, it's like okay, jump into some multiplayer for Infinite just because it's very pick up and play, even like just playing solo.
Yeah, and the Series X loads like it's nothing.
Yep.
Actually, are you guys all playing on Series X?
I am, yeah.
No, I have the launch Xbox One with the Kinect that I'm playing on.
So
because I'm a pleb.
Have you played it on a? Have you seen? Well, I guess have you played the Series X version of Halo in person yet?
No, but I plan to, and Will and I can finally link up and play it.
I was gonna say, yeah, just like next time you're like breaking into Will's house, you can like check it out. So I literally did the exact same thing with Gnarly today. If he's been playing, the same week I got an Xbox Series, he bought a launch Xbox One. But actually, he got it for a good deal. He got it for $100 cash. I'm like, for $100, that's a super, especially considering how much like everything's going for now because you can't find anything.
Yep.
But like, I showed it to him because I was like, I want you to tell me how different it's like because I've only played it at 60, and he's like, I feel like I've been playing a last gen game now because it was just like it's barely running 30. Like, it still looks good. I've seen like the breakdowns, but like actually putting your hands on it and playing it's always so much different and stuff for it. So I'll be curious to see like what you think as like, because like I've heard it's very fun and it's still very going back.
It's not that it's hard to play, and I've been playing with my my Hyperkin Duke controller, which the only thing I've noticed with the Duke is that I'm reaching for that left bumper, and it's like way up there, so it's hard to reach with your finger, which is good because the aiming is now on the left trigger with the new setup. But every time I want to go to that left bumper from aim, I recognize that it's a long travel with my finger. So I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't play with this controller on Legendary anymore.
I have a weird control Halo question. Although, Kurtz, I need to ask you first. Did you know that they've done like 4 different versions of the Duke controller now by Hyperkin?
I think so, yeah. Let's see here. Who just tried to join? Oh, it's private chat.
So,
okay.
This is the crazy thing.
How many? You said there's 4? Because
there's like a Cortana one. Yeah, there's like an original, a light up green translucent one, and then there's a Cortana one, and I think there's even a Master Chief.
I pre-ordered that Cortana one, and it's not here yet. I'm very disappointed because I see on Twitter that other people have it. I don't know why.
There are a lot of versions of the Duke, but you're talking like I thought you meant like there's 3 generations of the Duke. There's
this
the original
is specifically
the
Hyperkin one.
Okay,
they've made
there's
like
a lot
variants.
of different Hyperkins one. There's like because even the last gen they had black, green, I think orange, and I think it was black, green, and orange. I think, and maybe a translucent purple. I don't remember for sure. But then when they did the Cortana one, obviously the translucent.
Oh my
purple
god!
went
They
away.
even did a 20th anniversary Duke.
Yeah, they did. I almost
you're
wanted
right.
that one.
So like,
but last gen they had a whole bunch.
Oh my
and
god!
now they
There's
have
so many.
updated
There's
it for-
red, white, blue, green. Jesus, I thought there was only like 3 or 4. That's crazy. There are some ugly designs.
The one big mistake I think they made was that neither Hyperkin nor Xbox made it wireless. It's all wired.
I think that's like a part of like the cheaper thing because it is an expensive controller to make. Ben, like I think like more people for third party controllers just want wireless because like part of like the like making it a little bit cheaper. But no, the other one I wanted to ask also, weird aside, because I'm experiencing Halo for the first time, going back and forth because there's no original art style for me, so I'm just checking both out at the same time. Is there like a hardcore contingent of fans that are like, Cortana is purple, she's always purple? Because in all the marketing for me as an outsider, it's like, yeah, it's the blue lady. The blue lady's...
Well, she was originally like a greenish color.
No,
really?
she is purple. Yeah, I don't know what you're remembering.
Well,
Am I not remembering this right?
No, she turns green when she gets pissed off. I don't think
that's right.
Spencer's gotten there yet.
But they removed that, I think, when they updated it for CE Anniversary. Didn't they? There's no longer the green
they
Cortana.
use in Anniversary. I can't even remember anymore.
I think it's the Halo 3 model. Or it's Reach.
I
No,
will
it wouldn't
say
be Reach.
this.
There's no Reach model.
The switch of graphics button is too good in Anniversary until you're in a cutscene where it won't let you switch.
Oh, it's super janky. But in Halo 2, it's amazing. It's like super smooth transitions.
Well, like I like that you could do it. My thing is like I wish I could do it all the time. Like,
oh no, but in Halo 2 you can do it between the cutscenes.
So this is the weird one that I forgot to ask you guys while talking about early Halo stuff, because I played Halo, but I guess I don't remember it because like all my memories were multiplayer. How on earth did people go for 3 games with right bumper to reload? That seems like a savage mindset thing of like, yep, I shoot with this and I reload with this.
All right,
like,
so one point, I'll just go ahead and dispel that notion. The first 2 games were on the original Xbox. There was no bumper.
The white and black buttons.
Oh, is that why I'm not remembering doing that on the first one? So that was what white and black were.
Yes. And so with my Duke controller, I can go back and play it the way it was originally intended.
Oh, that's
why I like the Duke.
I remember playing on the Duke, and I'm like, I don't remember there being a shitty like shoulder button to reload. Like doing it with like, the white button would be.
Also, you can change your controls if you don't like that.
I went the first level OG controls, and as soon as I'm on level 2, I'm like, I gotta change it. And thankfully, like MCC has awesome customization controls of like, do you want to do it game by game? Like, do you want to do like this? Like, so all the accessibility stuff is great. But my thing is, this is like, I want to know if there's like a purist out there who's like, I guess it would probably be someone like you, Chris, of like, are you playing Halo Infinite with Halo 1's controls?
No, I usually play with the default controls until I really get a feel for how the game's playing, and then I readjust.
I always play on Recon, so whatever that is. I've never switched it since Halo 3.
Recon was a Halo 3 setting, and they've
what is Recon like?
It's a very specific control set. Yeah,
you punch with B, you reload with the upper bumper. I think maybe it's X. I can't remember. B is that's the thing. Is I have to hit with B because it's
that Recon sounds like Halo 1. That sounds like
that's
Halo
probably
1's
why I use it then. Yeah.
Well, Recon is the adaptation for 3 that was in 1. They basically took the 1 controls and then they made it updated for modern games like Halo 3 when Halo 3 was still modern.
I love then that I'm just like a basic white boy who just uses Call of Duty controls. I'm like, X to reload. Oh boy.
Yeah.
L to aim down sight. This is how God
legitimately lose my mind if I can't get that controller down like that, because like when I first played the multiplayer, I couldn't figure out how to switch it. And it was like a weird glitch in my menu. And I was like about to lose it. So it's like, I can't punch. I kept crouching. Oh my gosh, it was so frustrating.
So
is crouching, by the way, just bad in Halo 1? Of like, do they not want you to crouch and move? Like every time I feel like I'm crouching and I try to move, it's like the game being like, nope, you gotta stand up for this. It's very weird.
I don't think that wasn't really a thing yet.
Yeah, it was more like, oh, you can crouch behind things, but you don't want to move.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. You crouch to like get out, like to duck out of fire. But in like Halo 2, that became more of a strategy for multiplayer. So that's when they really fully integrated it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then for example, on Halo 3, they added the toggle instead of the hold to crouch. So that was nice. I liked the fact that you could just toggle crouch and you'd just be crouching consistently instead of having to click and hold.
Click and hold like the left stick to crouch is like to me like a punishment of like that just doesn't feel good. Although I will say this is another weird thing of I didn't think I would always see this way. Actually, no, I think wasn't it actually the right stick? I think it was right stick hold down to crouch in Halo 1 on like default controls.
Yep, that's how it was.
Oh no, dude.
I don't know.
Yep.
Is that how it is now? Let me think.
So
it's so intuitive to me that I don't ever think about it.
So the weird thing though, I wanted to say, I've never liked any Xbox controller, even when I owned a one. I was like, this is a bad controller. It's got some good elements. Like the 360, I was like, this feels like even an official 360 controller felt like a third-party controller to me. Like I just did not like any of the controllers. I was never a baby about off sticks because I think there's always those people who are like off sticks or even sticks like fucks with you. Like as Chris will attest, fellow Wii U lovers over here, even the top sticks will even play with that cursed play method. The Series X controller I think might be their like best one they've ever made, which is funny because I was so scared of that disc, that little disc D-pad. I was like, that's gotta feel like garbage. And every button like feels really solid. Like every button feels like I could punch click it 1,000 times and it would still be really, really good. Also, while I think I probably still like the DualSense controller more, I'm going to take a really long time to not miss the rubber triggers on top. Like that's such a weird thing I didn't know I wanted. Same. But especially because the Xbox One started this and I really liked this, but outside of Forza, there's not a lot of games that use it well. Halo actually uses it really, really well, of the rumble triggers. Like, that's really, really fun. And I'm like, what a weird, like, thing of, like, I'm super late to the party, but, like, I now, like, immediately after playing with it for, like, a week, I'm like, I gotta buy another controller. Not because I need one, but I'm like, I just want more of these. And I'm like, man, I see now why they made, like, a design. I can see why the design lab exists. So you can just make all these stupid controllers because like they know they probably have a really good system and like a really good controller.
See, I like what they did with the Halo Edition Xbox Series X, and I like the controller, but I miss the military green they did for the Xbox 360 Halo 3 Edition. That is the nicest looking console I have ever owned.
I think you'd have to only say that to Halo fans because like I think if you showed that to like a art designer, they'd be like, it's a little busy. I'll like say this. All of the Halo Special Edition systems are very unique in their own ways, and I've always liked them for that. Like I even like the Halo 4 one. I don't know if there's a lot of nostalgia for that 360. I thought that Halo 4 one was cool. I will say this. I always had like my favorite has always been this, and I used to see this a lot when I worked at GameStop. The Halo Reach 360, how like silver and chrome that looked. I loved how that looked.
Yeah, I have the Star Wars one, so I can't even really comment.
Oh, dude, well, you know what? You can comment on this. So this is like the weird like ace in the hole that only Xbox does with their special editions for some reason, and I think it started with. It might have been Halo 3 or the Star Wars one of custom system sounds.
Yes, I love the fact that it's R2-D2. It's so great.
And so like how the Series X, like not only is it the on and off button do sounds, even the like eject disc button has its own custom sound and stuff like that is so unnecessary, but so nice.
Yeah, it was such a pleasant surprise. I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. And then when you actually eject the disc holder, the disc tray, it says like "Help me, you're my only hope" or something like that on the inside. Very cool.
And you know, I feel like I'm actually just being like a really big douche now because of like, let me tell you guys about this system that's really stupidly expensive that only one of us has for making bad financial choices. But if it ever, I feel like after Christmas, because there are like I've spent way too much time online looking for everyone selling these. Like I seriously. I think I submitted 200 offers to people online.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Because I had a thing in my head of like I'm not going over 800. I'm not going over 800. And like so I submitted everyone who would like take any offers and like there's thousands of these things online. So my hope is after Christmas. I think like it's a mixture of Halo's launch and Christmas is making them be really in demand of like selling and asking for 1,000. I hope it goes down because it's like it's a really nice system. And like if I like this system this much and I just started playing this series like 3 days ago, I'm sure you two would have a much greater respect for this system than I ever would.
Did you have a Series X before or no? So you're just comparing that to like another system? I'm
comparing it a lot to PS5, but I'm also comparing it to my experience with Xbox One. So I had an Xbox One from launch day. I was like weirdly cursed if I bought my Xbox One on day one. Remember back when like Microsoft had a huge hard-on for Day One edition? Here's you can get your Day One edition Xbox. I bought a Day One edition. I bought a Day One Halo. Sorry, I bought a Day One Xbox, but it wasn't the Day One edition. Like, you remember how they had the Scorpio edition Xbox One X? So, like, I didn't have any of those. And I didn't even have... All my launch games weren't the Day One edition. If you remember, actually, all of the Xbox One launch games that were Day One edition had unique foil cover art, where it was, like, the main character, and then it was all shiny behind them. None of those are rare, by the way. Maybe they are now, but like I remember people being like, "I have the Day One edition. Do I get any extra money?" But no, you definitely do not. Ironically, the only Day One edition thing I have is for a game. Actually, no, that's not true. I have. Is this one also Day One? Okay, I have two: Forza 2, Forza Horizon 2, and good old Sunset Overdrive.
I heard Sunset Overdrive is coming to the PlayStation. That
is 100% happening. I will say this, though. I was never more proud to own a Xbox for that game. That game is such a slam dunk. I hope more people get it. Like, that's like... I think 360 for me, the jealous, oh my god, I have to have it game, even though I never bought it, was Alan Wake, which finally now came out. I think 360 was Alan Wake for me, and for Xbox One, it's Sunset Overdrive. Because, like... There are a lot of great games on Xbox One, but like a lot of it is series that have been around forever. Halo, Gears, blah 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 blah. So like that was the weird like third party one. I think when that will ever finally come out, I don't know when because it's such a weird one. But like I hope that blows up a lot bigger than it did on because like PC it did okay, Xbox it did okay, but it was like one of those things of like. I think everyone deep down knew Sunset Overdrive. If that was a PlayStation game, people would be like, "Oh my god, this game's amazing!" It's really good.
Well, it looks like a PlayStation game.
I don't know. I can't get over the mechanics. I've tried several times. I don't like the constant movement, like going across the power lines and stuff.
It's a very like hyper game. Like it's there's no casual way to play Sunset Overdrive. It's very much like your fingers are always moving and stuff for it. So it's definitely like. Probably Insomniac's least accessible game, but I think like that part of that kind of makes it one of the fun parts. Actually, there's a really funny story behind that. That game almost cost Yuri Lowenthal being the voice of Spider-Man. So he's the male lead in Sunset Overdrive. If you play as a guy, you're playing as Yuri Lowenthal. And he went into audition for Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and they were like, "Yuri, you killed it. But we literally just had you as the lead in our last game. We can't have you in the lead of like 2 games back to back. It's going to look like you're Troy Baker over here." And then they went through the audition process for 3 months, and they were like, "Fuck, Yuri had the best audition." And so they went back and they hired him. It was one of those so funny things of like, I mean, also it's what no one's playing Spider-Man on PS4 being like, "Is that the guy from Sunset Overdrive?"
Yeah, I had no idea it was the same guy.
So I got to tell you, Spencer, you said there's games that make you buy other consoles even though you don't necessarily want them. For me, the reason why I end up with all 3 consoles is because I like specific franchises on each system. For Nintendo, for me, it was originally for Nintendo. For me, it was like the Fire Emblem series, but now it's also the Shin Megami Tensei series,
Codename Steam,
and obviously Donkey Kong made a comeback too. So there was that. And now Metroid. So like I've got a lot of Nintendo franchises. So I'm pretty much locked into Nintendo consoles. For Xbox for me though, it was always Dead Rising and Halo. Those are the 2 reasons for me to own an Xbox back in the 360 days. And then, obviously other games came out too, like Mass Effect. The backwards compatibility program is key. And then for PlayStation, I never really was a big PlayStation guy. Like I'll be honest, I had an original PlayStation and all I played on it was Crash Bandicoot. So I didn't really play a whole lot on the original PlayStation. I had Spyro 2 for a minute, but that game glitched so hard. The disc was messed up. It was like one of those Blockbuster rentals that somebody gave to GameStop.
Oh god, dude! Then Blockbuster would do like the sticker on the disc. It's like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this?
Was it Blockbuster that used to clean their own discs too?
And Hollywood Video too.
Do you know how many of those Blockbuster disc resurfacing machines wound up online when Blockbuster went out of business? Like almost all of them flooded eBay. You could have got one for like $1.
They didn't do a great job. That's why I brought it up. It's like you could get some really janky discs from that.
Anyways, finishing the story. It wasn't until I happened to decide to get a PS Vita instead of a 3DS that I wound up loving PlayStation a lot. Mm-hmm. And I wound up I got a PS4 because I got a PS Vita. And the remote play on that is one of the key features for me. But Persona is one of the biggest reasons. And then obviously Infamous. Infamous was actually the first game I loved on the PlayStation. Then Persona was probably the second. So those are my kind of franchises on that one. It's Infamous and Persona. Now Infamous is basically done. So
you can play Street Fighter Cross Tekken on there and pretend it's an Infamous game.
But Spider-Man's kind of taking the place of the Infamous series. So I'm looking forward to playing that one all the way through soon.
So like to kind of like bring it back though for the Halo thing, one of the ones I wanted to ask you guys is, so Chris, I know you totally ignored multiplayer until launch day. Will, did you
not
try
100%
any
true?
Okay, well, like
not 100% true.
But you weren't like diving in like head first. Like you were kind of like spacing it out.
I played all of the betas.
Mm-hmm.
So when they launched multiplayer early, I just decided I've got a ton of other games I'm playing. I don't feel like Halo's really launched until the campaign launches. So I was waiting until the campaign dropped to actually play multiplayer again. Because I already had enough beta.
Yeah, Chris and I are very similar like that. Where we usually will play the we'll play the campaign first and then do multiplayer.
It's funny that you guys say that because I'm not sure if you've noticed that, but all my friends who reviewed the game commented because they played a lot of the test flights and the multiplayer before the campaign. And one of the complaints had been like the maps are really good in Infinite, but there's not like a lot of them. Is like the whole time they were playing the campaign, they're like, this is going to be a map. This is going to be a map. So ironically, 343 kind of like hid the spoiler maps, even though like the game's kind of out of like, so that's at least good to know that like that's in there. Like I get it for it, but it's sort of funny of like, you couldn't have spoiled it really, even if you kind of wanted to with Infinite, just because it's like, it's so big. But I definitely do get that of like having the kind of context for it. Cause for me, a lot of those kind of games, I don't really notice it until I've like beaten the campaign of like, oh yeah, this is that place. So that means this is going on, and like kind of like putting two and two together. Because like otherwise you look at a multiplayer map and it's like, I don't know, like they threw some geometry together, I guess.
Yep. Well, I know in Halo Reach it was like a mission directive that every single multiplayer map had to be in the campaign too. They couldn't make a unique map,
which led to a lot of weird multiplayer maps.
Yeah, and also it was a huge development hell for those teams because it's like, man, this would work great for campaign, but sucks for multiplayer, and vice versa. So, the director's commentary on that say they hated that decision.
I'm not sure why you would ever make that decision. Like it's such a weird decision.
The idea is that they would save resources because they only have to create it one time, but they didn't think that through. That's
so
it.
This is a weird question because we were talking about systems and it got me thinking. So Chris is such a big Xbox fan. I have to ask then, were you never tempted to get like the S or the Xbox One X at all? Or was it one of those things of just like, I'll wait till the next actual system, not the half steps?
So you're okay. Repeat that question. Kind of. What you're saying is that
because you were talking about like how you'll like follow systems for like games and stuff. For it got me thinking of like I was surprised you seemed like someone who would have jumped in on the One X. Was it like because it was a half system? Did it kind of turn you off, or were you like, I'll just wait till the next thing?
You're asking me why I didn't do a mid-system upgrade on the Xbox One X?
Yeah, you definitely seem to me like someone who would have thrown caution to the wind and been
no. You're totally picking me for the wrong person. Once I have one system, unless I feel like very, very strongly about getting something, I won't switch. Like I have a backwards compatible PS3. Like my backwards compatible PS3 is the only PS3 I have. I'm not going to get multiple PS3s. But a lot of times I'll wait till launch. I'll even wait till like I think I got my OG Xbox One when the One S was already out. And the reason I did that is because I knew features were taken away. I knew features were taken away from the One S, like the Connect port's gone, right?
Mhm.
And there's some other things I can't remember. There's some other things that I liked about the OG one versus the One S, even though
I think you
4K.
might be
I
the
didn't even
one
have a
person
4K
who likes to
TV.
connect.
The Connect 2.0 is actually pretty good. It's a lot better than the OG one, and because I'm such a Dead Rising 3 fan,
Yeah, the zombies can
when you
hear
make sounds with the Connect connected, yeah, like so that's a huge thing for me. I like that. Oh, here we go. Demi Crow's got the comment of the night. Jack
I will
Frost,
say,
Master Chief
considering all
Hunt
the
is a
weird
priority.
cosmetics I've seen in Halo, like multiplayer stuff, like the fact that the Duke controller can just be strapped on is like, there you
awesome.
go, here you go, man. I'm gonna just throw it on you. I'm like, all right, I guess anything can be an accessory. Like we're not that far off from that timeline, but like no, I get that. And you know what's funny is I actually was really late to the PS4 Pro, even though I was like, this sounds interesting. I just knew like I don't have a 4K TV. Also, the PS4 Pro is really like not that good of an upgrade, especially since it came out. I think a year before after the Xbox One X. But the X was a big upgrade. The Pro was really not. But the only reason I bought the Pro was because there was a Kingdom Hearts Special Edition bundle in 2019. A year before the PS5, so it's like I didn't even need to get this. So it was like one of those things of like I bought this beautiful giant cheeseburger or whatever just for like the thing, and I knew it was just going to be like part of my collection for it. So yeah, I can definitely respect that because like there's very few times I've looked at a system upgrade, even like whether they be substantial or like tiny ones, like looking at the Nintendo Switch OLED. Like that thing could literally come with the cure for cancer, and I'd be like, I'm good.
Yeah.
No, the OLED. The only way the OLED would have worked for existing Switch owners is either A, you need a second Switch and you're willing to pay for it, or B, if GameStop or one of those game stores had like a trade-in program, you take your existing Switch and you get an OLED for $100.
Mm-hmm.
Then
that's essentially how I got my One X. Is that I traded in my OG Xbox and some games and some controllers or something, and I only paid like $50 for that system.
Chris, I have bad news for you, by the way, about your analogy. GameStop will literally give you $200 for a Nintendo Switch. So if you want a Switch OLED for $150, there you go.
Yeah, no, they did actually have a really nice trade-in program right when the OLED launched, but they didn't market it. They didn't tell anybody what was going on. They were giving people $250 for the Switch, and if you applied it towards the OLED, and I think you got like a $25 gift card. So you're getting OLEDs for like $75.
So the OLED would have worked for me is if it was the same price as the original, and then the original dropped down to like $200, and then I would have bought the original again.
So wait then. So Will, when did you get the Series X, not the One X? When did you get the Series X?
When I found one at Myers.
Yeah, when was that, Chris? You always bring up the story that you found it, but when did that happen?
I have to a Myers or something.
I went to a Meijer because I'm a Midwest guy,
mm-hmm.
and I just walked over to the counter and said, "Hey, you guys got any Series X's back there?" And they're like, "I do."
This is the highlight of our friendship, by the way.
It's all downhill from here. You'll never
exactly. We've peaked.
I called Will and I said, "Hey, Will, I know you want a Series X. How badly do you want a Series X? I'll buy one today, and you can come pick it up."
Yeah, and I said, if you have two, get both of them.
They were limiting it to one per customer.
Yeah.
I had three people line up behind me when they saw me buy one.
That's essentially how I got the Super Nintendo Mini, because I had to go and ask, and it felt super shady. And then people descended because they're like, "Oh, they have them in the back."
Yeah, I know. And then I've had like 4 opportunities to buy a PS5 in person, and I've never taken it.
I've seen one, and I've seen a ton of Series S's.
The Series S, you could get one. You want one, you'll find one.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide if Robert should just get a Series S because, I mean, he doesn't.
Does he need to collect physical games?
Nah. He's got a bunch of kids, too. Like, they're going to destroy him anyway.
He's better off with Game Pass and the Series S. And I wish they would have had, like, any kind of... Like, if there was a Series S that was black or, like, even just a custom one, I might have bought one by now.
Yeah.
But it's just the white and black. It looks like the One S.
Mm-hmm.
And I have.
Well, even
1S
1S has custom editions.
It does. Yeah, you got like the Gears of War one, which is probably the coolest looking one.
It's pretty cool.
It's like black and it's got the skull on it. It's got the red like blood.
Oh, here's another thing that you need to look out for is a Sea of Thieves Xbox One controller. That is my favorite controller.
I've seen those.
I have yet to see. I haven't seen one for sale that's like below $200.
They had one at GameStop like 12 months ago.
Okay, well, if you see another one at GameStop, get it for me.
Yeah, it was around the same time that I could have bought a Duke for like $30.
Yeah, no, I saw the Dukes were cheap. I saw a Halo, like a Halo 5 controller too, and I didn't get it. Did we lose Spencer?
No, he's in the private chat. He's still here. You can hear us. He's handling something real quick.
Okay, I see.
So I wanted to jump into this real quick. So you do not think that the brute boss battles in Halo Infinite feel like the brute boss battle from Halo 2?
No. How far have you gotten before I answer this question?
Well, I've already talked to you about this. I'm still. I'm not
in
on
the same spot.
Halo.
You're in the same spot then.
I haven't played tonight. No.
That first boss battle is garbage.
Bro, I don't have power.
Yeah, true. I didn't know that until you called me later. So I didn't know you had power. Didn't have power earlier in the day. So that first one is garbage, and I can definitely feel the pain that you did on Legendary because I had a hard time even on normal getting down his patterns. But once you get down you have to
dance around the elevator the whole time, and he can just jump across it.
It's super annoying. Once you get down to the Halo, though, you can bring whatever you need into a battle, and you know when it's going to happen. So it's not like a mystery that you're about to hit a boss. So you can bring in like power weapons, and a lot of times you can bring in vehicles, so you can like change up the gameplay.
See, I don't think boss battles fit Halo. I just don't.
I like it simply because it kind of builds on the lore. They have their own little intros, and it builds up to them. So, like, besides that one, the other ones, like you have a reason for killing them, and you kind of feel justified and happy of doing it. So, can I just ruin the next one for you?
Fine, whatever.
I don't want to, though. I feel like I don't want to do it.
I just don't feel like boss battles fit the Halo mold.
It's nothing like Halo 2 because, first of all, that one, he's invincible until you have to wait for Johnson to shoot him with the sniper.
Well, every time I get the guy's shield down, he goes and runs and hides, so he's basically invincible.
It's not exactly the same because Tartarus was truly invincible, and it was just like whenever the game decided to like allow you to hurt him.
I just meant like that's another boss battle in the series.
That boss battle
is dumb.
Tartarus is terrible. I'm trying to think of other boss. Well, all of the
Warden
ones are
the Warden.
Yeah, all the ones
garbage.
All the
I
Warden
did not like the Warden. I thought the Warden was dumb.
No, it's terrible. I thought the boss battles were better, sorta, in Warzone.
If you're gonna have like a legit like boss battle, I'd rather see like the Scarab battle in Halo 3. Like that felt like a boss battle.
Yeah, so far, I would still prefer that. I'm not saying that I wouldn't prefer that. I definitely would prefer the Scarab battles, just because it's like, I don't know, it's cooler. You get to take it over, and again, you have multiple ways of approaching the situation, which I like a lot.
If you're gonna have a boss battle, I wouldn't have even minded if they would have had us fight Gravemind. Like that would have been cool.
So it's not all brutes, by the way. Did you know that?
No, there's elites and some other stuff.
Yeah, there is a variety, and each encounter is different. I don't want to write it for you,
but it's, well, you can talk about the gameplay loop. I think the gameplay loop is well done. I like how when they introduce you to the first level, and it's like all grunts, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's a brute there, and then there's some elites. Everything I like except the boss. That first boss battle is very poorly designed. I will say that.
Yeah, it was. The thing is, like, even the reviews have said that first one sucks really bad.
It's
once you get
horribly designed,
once it gets down to the Halo, it's completely different. So, what's your favorite level from Halo 1?
From Halo 1?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's the last level, but if you don't include the Warthog run,
except for the mall, not that one.
Because that one's it's so hard to pick anything else above that one. But my second, honestly, the library is probably my second favorite one. I know a lot of people hate the library.
All right, then I guess what's your third favorite? I can't believe you picked the library.
I do like the first mission a lot. The first mission is a lot of fun.
On the Halo or first one in a ship? Okay, so you like
Halo,
the first one
and Halo,
and you like do you like the silent cartographer when they land on the beach?
Yeah, that one's good too. Actually, now I'm thinking about
All right, so basically the entire game is those 2 levels.
it.
So, did you read the Bloomberg article about them cutting out like 2/3 of the game?
No, I didn't.
So they just released an article on the same day at launch, which is probably why you missed it. But basically, the development was in shambles for years, and they ended up they wanted a game that was as expansive as Zelda, essentially, I guess, and as diverse in your encounters as Zelda. And then they got to 2019, and they realized, oh shit, like we don't have the manpower at the time, so they cut 2/3 of the game. But even then,
they'll probably release it later as DLC.
Exactly. So it's very obvious that like more parts of the ring is going to come into play, and it's also very obvious that you're going to get different biomes later as DLC.
Yeah, I read. I didn't read a review, but I read like a synopsis or somebody said it's clear that the game isn't done.
I haven't gotten to the end, so I don't know if it ends on a cliffhanger or anything. But don't let that discourage you. It is very fun. It feels like classic Halo. And the reason why I bring up the silent cartographer and like Halo, so that first level on the Halo ring, it feels like that. So like that feeling of stepping out into the ring and then just kind of like doing your own thing. That's what it feels like. And the boss battles are fun just because like as you're going through the level, not really levels, as you're going through the ring, you'll pick up audio logs, you'll have like chatter.
Yeah, I already picked up 2 on the ship.
Yeah, you'll pick up other audio logs,
and there was a UNSC one.
And then now,
before I finish my stay away from Zeta, I want to know: are there any skulls hidden in those first 2 missions? Yes. My goodness, I'm about to start the game over.
I missed them. I don't know. I haven't found a single freaking skull.
But there are 2 in it before you get on Zeta.
Yeah.
So there's like 1 per mission. Okay,
well, there might be 1. I don't remember how many. There's definitely at least 1.
Because I checked a lot of places. I grapple hooked everywhere. I was looking all over the place.
They're clearly hidden because I have been exploring like crazy, and there's a reason why I'm only on the 3rd mission in the game.
I glitched out of the map and found my way back in, so like I've been all over.
Missed them still.
Yeah, I don't know how. I would be willing to bet it's probably in that platforming part. There's probably a skull there somewhere.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Because there's a lot of platforms that like within reach of the grapple shot, grapple hook, whatever you want to call it. And yet they were not. I did not go to them. I probably should have tried it.
Yep.
But there's a lot of like I've realized like with that grapple hook, you can go to a lot of places that you would never have been able to go in any of the previous Halo games.
Yeah. You really feel that once you get to the ring, because literally anywhere you see, you can go to it.
Do you see that mountain over there?
No, like you can do that. It's pretty funny. It's like I kind of was like, I remember they said it during the gameplay reveal back in 2020, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh yeah, right." But no, he really can go to the top of the mountains. It's pretty cool.
So
and there's stuff up there.
It is like Halo Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, you definitely see that they were originally influenced by that game, and then they diverted like very hard left from that.
Yeah, I got you. I'm messaging in the private chat to see if Spencer's coming back.
No, he just left us.
He's like, "See ya, I'm just gonna leave myself in this chat."
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess for me, it does feel like a return to form. It feels like a natural progression from what Bungie was doing.
Yeah.
As opposed to the hard right angles that happened during 4 and 5.
Yeah. I almost want to say, like, it feels like if Halo 1 was made now.
Yeah.
Also, I am back, by the way.
Okay. Hey, so just out of curiosity for you, Spencer, since you're going back and you're playing through the entire campaign of the Master Chief Collection, and you'll probably get to Infinite sometime in 2023.
My goal is I will beat all of these games by the end of the year. That's my stupid goal.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Are you playing
even if I have to do like a New Year's Eve like live stream of like the last
like
game.
A 12-hour live stream.
My honestly, the only one that is going to be a problem is Infinite, because Infinite I've heard takes like 20 to 30 hours if you want to do a lot, and I really want to do a lot.
If you do it on Legendary and you do everything, apparently it takes like 40 to 50.
Let me tell you, everyone I know was like, play it on heroic. Make your first playthrough on heroic. You got to do. I'm like, no, dude. I did normal, and I die enough times on normal that I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell Chris to do it on normal, but he's like, no, I always play first on legendary. It's like, man, you're gonna say so for failure.
Maybe I'm just like rusty for certain types of shooters, but like Halo 1 kicks my ass at a moment's notice. That I'm like, you know what is not going to help me beat these games in a quick period of time. Like, because like when you press the pause menu in MCC, it's like this level should take you 15 minutes. 1 hour later, I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, I can crush the other than Halo 5. I can crush them on legendary. The reason why
Halo
I like
5
going,
is so hard on legendary.
The thing is, I hate the game anyway, so like I don't want to go through it.
No, Halo 5. I've been playing that solo for the most part on legendary. That game is made for squad combat. Playing that game on legendary is a lesson in masochism.
You guys might be able to explain this to me. So, does every Halo game have a secret ending on legendary?
Most of them.
Yeah, I gotta think about which one.
Actually, I think yes. I think they all do. Is
it one of those things that like
Reach might not. Reach might.
Is
it
worth trying to do? Like where I shouldn't watch a cutscene instead of beating it on legendary, or like am I gonna miss like pivotal story stuff if I go from 1 to 2 and don't see the ending?
I think 3 has the most pivotal.
Yeah, that's the only
pivotal
one.
story.
But like I'm saying, like, is it so pivotal? Like, is it like I should watch it before playing it, or should I earn them before going to the next one? Like, is it that?
My favorite one is Halo CE's legendary ending.
Hold on. I don't know. No, you don't need to necessarily earn it. That's fine, I would say.
At least the nice thing actually about Master Chief Collection is all of the terminals and all of the cutscenes are unlocked, even if you don't have them unlocked. So you can just watch all of them if you want.
Yeah, that is cool.
I do know this: if you go on easy mode, you can't actually collect anything.
Well, there's not a lot really to collect. The terminals are pretty easy to find, but I'm halfway through Halo 1. I haven't even found a hint of the skull. I don't even know where the skulls are.
Oh, really? Okay. No, I know where all those ones are. I haven't found. I was telling Chris, I don't think you're here. I haven't found a single skull in Infinite, and I don't understand it because I am looking everywhere.
I talked to 6 different people who've been playing the game for like 2 weeks for review. One of them found a skull. Only one of them found a single skull.
Yeah.
So like they're really, really well. What's the funny thing is like all the stuff I've been hearing about it, that's been like so interesting and stuff with it, like especially without any context, is hearing people playing the game talking about the size. And then I hate that article came out of Bloomberg this week. Like I get why it did, but like it was going to be Zelda big until it got cut down. I'm like, I don't think like from everyone who's played it, I don't know anyone who's playing Halo Infinite being like, man, should have been bigger. Like it seems big enough for what it is.
The only problem I hear, and like I'm also kind of experiencing it, it really is one biome. So it's very, very much northwest.
That's one thing, and like I almost give them the pass of it because I think people keep forgetting. Like this is another thing I was telling my friend today when he came over. I was like, hey, this is a 10-year game. That doesn't just mean for single player. Sorry, that doesn't just mean for multiplayer. Like there's nothing stopping them from adding a ODST to this. Like there's nothing saying like we can't just add another biome or stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it very much is going to be DLC. They're going to add in like a snow level, a sand level, all the things we know and love.
Give me the water temple.
Yeah, exactly.
They've never done an underwater Halo level, like truly underwater.
Considering how heavy Master Chief plays, like that armor is it just like playing through an entire Zelda dungeon with the iron boots on?
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't need to breathe clearly because he can survive in space.
That's true. So actually, I might have missed it for both of you, and then I'll let our guest introduce themselves if they want. How far hours-wise are you both in Infinite?
I'm probably like 10 hours in, and I'm like...
Will's a lot farther than I am.
I'm not that much farther in the story than you, Chris, honestly.
Will's a lot farther than I am.
I'm on the Halo ring. He is not, but I've been dicking around and doing the forward operating bases and looking for skulls. Yeah, that's why I'm taking so long. I love the grapple shot, though. It just opens up so many gameplay opportunities.
The second I unlocked it on multiplayer, I was like, I see why everyone loves this thing. It's so honestly, all the equipment in multiplayer, I'm really impressed about how good it is.
Yeah,
except I guess like the bubble shield.
The bubble shield makes a lot more sense in a campaign.
The repulsor, I will say this: the repulsor gets a pass because I finally learned that it's meant to parry. The moment I learned about like how to actually parry, I'm like, I get this, but there's going to be a large amount of people who are just never going to want to learn that.
True. Hey, Nerd Talk, do you want to introduce yourself?
I do not.
He's like, I'd like the direct stream to this show, but without actually adding to the viewer count. Please.
Yeah, it just wants his icon up there.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's
branding,
all self-publicity. Spencer, nice to meet you, man. I am
nice to meet you. I gotta informally meet you before, but now it's a little more formal.
For sure. You can call me Dan. I just saw you guys were talking to
I thought you were
going to
call me Dad.
I also thought I was like, are you gonna make me call you Daddy? What's happening here?
Daddy costs a lot more, so it's price ranges. Dan is free.
That'd be a good like OnlyFans like spin-off business. Nerd talk with Dan, and then we got like we got nerdy time with Daddy.
Ooh.
No, it's not OnlyFans. It's Only Dan's.
Only
man.
Dan's. There you go.
The brilliance in this chat is amazing. It's blowing my mind. Franchise options. Is there a bubble shield in MP? I haven't seen it yet.
No.
Well, sorry, not a bubble shield. Yeah, I'm thinking of the shield wall.
The drop shield.
Yeah.
Hate the drop shield.
So
not use it.
How broken though is the playlists on multiplayer? Like I am very disappointed in the offerings for multiplayer playlists right now.
Something's up with that because all of those playlists are actually already in the game. They're just not like unlocked.
Right.
So I'm just curious what the strategy there was. Like, were they planning on releasing what we have at launch, and then like by Christmas, it's like, here's your Christmas present, and like have a whole bunch of more playlists. But then they launched it early and didn't have a plan for that.
When did Fiesta, by the way? When did Fiesta turn off? I think did it turn off by launch day?
Fiesta was in.
I know it was before launch, but I thought Fiesta.
It was just for that event, and then they turned it off, and then they're bringing it back.
Yeah,
okay,
that Fiesta, right?
Yeah,
that would have
like
been
a week.
My guess of it is like this, because like honestly, I think more people. Because what was funny about it was you guys were talking about how you wouldn't want to jump into multiplayer until you'd beaten the campaign, and I thought more people were going to be playing the campaign than the multiplayer. But looking at like the analytics that have been out there with like Xbox Live and achievements, way more people are playing. And to be fair, one of them is free, the other one you need Game Pass or to actually buy. But I find it so interesting of like I thought that it was going to be like a little bit of a dip on launch day for multiplayer outside of like maybe like no, not even that, because like you would have almost thought because the multiplayer had been out so early, everyone would just be joning for single player. Which, by the way, because what a weird rollout that single player had. Of like for me, it wasn't even out until like noon, like in the middle of the day. Like there was no preload option, like unless you had like a copy or whatever, you had to like wait until like the middle of the day. There was no midnight unlock play for that. So it was so funny of like they really they literally waited halfway until the day was done to release the game. It was like what a crazy thing.
Yeah, it was noon. For us, it was 1 p.m. EST. So the question I have for you, Spencer, was anything already on the Xbox Series X that you bought? Or did you have to download it still, just like every other pleb out there?
Yeah, it was basically like the already redeemed code was tied to the system serial number. But I did do this experiment, because a lot of people were talking about it on Twitter, but there weren't any specifics out there. I thought about doing a video, but the results were kind of underwhelming, and I kind of just thought, well, I can at least talk about it now. So Richard Ledbetter, I think, or it might have been Dan or something like that. One of the people at it was Dark 1X, I think, at Digital Foundry, was like the disc version of Halo. There's no game on the disc, and I was like, that doesn't
really.
That doesn't seem to be like that doesn't make sense. So I was thinking maybe it's the Xbox One version's not on the disc. Maybe there's no Series X version on the disc. So here's the weird kicker. There is a campaign on that disc. So this is what I did. I updated my system because you can't play the Series X, much like the Xbox One. You have to update it when you buy it out of the box, even with the Halo edition. Like there's no hardware ready to play. You need to like download that's like it's online mandatory at first. So I updated the system and then turned off my internet. And then I put in the disc. And then when I put in the disc, I loaded it up. I installed it. You start it, no connection. It downloads the campaign, but it needs to like verify something. And at that point, there's no real way to like download it without the update being there. So it like needs to authenticate with the store, which it won't really do until you update it. So the campaign's on that disc because I looked at the file size. It's not what is it? It's not the same file size as the multiplayer client. Because I thought maybe at the worst the disc would just be multiplayer. So the campaign is on that disc, but just the weird thing about it is you can't play it natively without an online, which is like I would get the complaint, but also you can't play an Xbox One or an X without an online connection. So it's like the physical thing is still there. Like if you have like 5 kilobits running through your system, you have enough to authenticate it and play it. The weird thing about it is just like it's not advertised really anywhere on the box of like internet connection required. Obviously, you can still play in the campaign without it. The one thing I will say is this, like just the way they like worked the system, I think like it's almost like, and if you look at the main menu when you load it up, it's like they added the campaign as DLC. Like they treat the campaign like it's checking to make sure you bought it, as opposed to it's a mode separate to it. Like it's almost like the campaign, like obviously it wasn't an afterthought, but it's funny the way they baked it in. It's very apparent. It's always been multiplayer first.
I think it comes down to how Halo 5 sold. So I think they just made a lot more money off of the microtransactions in the multiplayer.
Oh, dude, no way. No,
think?
No, dude,
so?
Because what was it? Warzone? What was it called? So, like, Warzone was such a financial disaster for Microsoft. I remember that being a big dud for them. And what was the other big card one they did? Gears 4 had a big microtransaction element to it. And that was like pre-battle passes of like Microsoft was trying things like, okay, we can't do map packs anymore. How do we like make money out of this? Like Forza makes sense. You can do packs with Forza. Buy a car, get a spin. That makes sense. It's not like the reward system for something like the Gears, because like the way that like if you compare the progression and unlocks in Gears 2 to Gears 4, it's like, what the hell is this? And like that's why Warzone was so jarring, because like it was even more jarring because there was no big team battle. That was the replacement to big team battle. Was this thing that like you felt like you were at a disadvantage at if you never spent any money. Whereas like at least like say what you will about the progression in Infinite's multiplayer, I don't give a shit if I'm a no skin, because it's a first-person game. I'm there to play the game. I don't care what my level gets to. I'm probably never even going to buy that premium battle pass. I am just here for the modes, and I'm here for the guns, and I'm here for that. Like, it's cool to see the different people looking that way, but, like, for me, like, I would much rather have it, like, Infinite as opposed to the microtransactions, and I think that's more the case because everyone I know who's bought the battle pass has been like, well, I bought it because I love Halo. I might care about the skins. I might want some of the skins, but for the most part, a lot of people, especially I think I heard this a lot more before the campaign was out, was like the multiplayer through the test flights and the betas and everything leading up to the early release. The reception and the feedback was so positive to how open Microsoft was being that everyone was like, I'll just give them like, because what is it, like $10 for the battle pass? Everyone was like, I'll give them the 10 or $20 or whatever for it, because it's like, even if it's worth it, because like honestly, like for me, the cosmetics I saw in the battle pass are like fine at best. I don't care about having my helmet on fire. That does nothing for me. So like,
you're not a true Halo fan. That is classic Halo.
Yeah, but so then this is my question for all three of you. Have you guys bought the battle pass, and if so, why and will you?
That's a negative for me.
I might do it once they actually fix it and the progression makes sense to me. Like I'm super confused how that works. And like, but I mean, the multiplayer is technically free, even though I paid full price for the campaign. But it ends up getting to a point where it's like it's $10. The skins look cool, and I understand how I'm actually going to unlock them through gameplay. Maybe.
I'll say this: it's way more targeted to you guys, and I think it's really smart that the first season is tied to Reach. I think that's a really smart thing. I think tying the seasons to games or historical events would be really smart. Like, seriously, let's just think about this. Like, I'm surprised they didn't start with this, but that was probably a little bit too on the nose or easy. Like, just wait for whenever they do season 2 or season 3. It's just, here's the Halo 2 season, where you're just unlocking all of the skins. And hey, guess what? If you get to level 100, you get the Arbiter skin. But it's the Xbox One looking Arbiter. Imagine how all over that everyone's going to be. Like that stuff's going to be able to sell it a lot more, even from an outside perspective, as opposed to me looking at like, I don't know a single name from Reach. So it's like I'm looking at every outfit is a no skin to me. I have as much connection to the level 100 skin or the Samurai Fiesta skin as I do to the female Spartan in Dead or Alive 4. Like they're all on the same level to me.
Okay.
I still think Microsoft should pull a Super Smash Bros. Style shooter on the Xbox, because where do people play shooters? Xbox. And they really could easily grab all the shooter characters from all the different games they've owned over the years, and especially now with Bethesda, and create like open shoot or open shooter or something like that, and just grab an engine.
Then it goes back to the whole thing of it's first person though. Like, I don't care if you look like Marcus Phoenix and I'm shooting you. I'm not going to be like, yo, that's Marcus Phoenix. Like, look at Fortnite. It gets away with that because it's third person. Like, even when Gears of War tried it, Gears of War 5 had Terminator, Predator, Alien DLC. Like, that's there. But, like, I mean, they literally had just real Dave Bautista in Gears 5. Like, it's just one of those things of, like, even in a third person game, and a lot of people really like Gears of War 5. Like, it didn't really do it, and I don't think Halo would really do that either. Like, even if it was like,
no, I'm not saying Halo.
Oh,
I'm not
okay,
saying Halo. I'm saying, but you can still have Doom guy skin.
I will say this: Doom is a lock. Doom is 100% going to be a skin at some point because that just makes way too much sense. The one I will say, if they ever can make it happen, I don't think they could, because if I know Fortnite tried and they definitely weren't able to do it. If they ever could get a Metroid Prime skin, that would be huge.
Yeah.
Like, Metroid Prime
Dude,
would be
Samus,
like,
Samus would fit so well.
Like, literally, because, like, Samus is basically already ready. Like, she's literally, like, pun unintended, but Samus is primed and ready to be in Halo. Like, she makes too much sense.
She has weapons that would fit the Covenant, and you know, because she got the plasma and everything else. Basically, is what her shooter is. Same idea.
Like, how many Microsoft N64 games do we need to allow Nintendo's crappy online to get Samus and Halo Infinite? Is it like, oh, there you go. Here's another one. Like, honestly, that like could be like dumb for like time stuff. I would say if they went like really balls into it, but then like you're kind of losing the Halo. I was thinking of like if they went really crazy. Like, imagine if they did a Banjo-Tooie skin, because there's a first-person shooter mode. Like, why not? That was a first-person shooter, and Microsoft owns Banjo and Kazooie. Like, they could do stuff. Like, there could be like dumb stuff like that would kind of like make sense of like when they get into like really out there material. But I find it interesting though, like the complaint and the confusion with the Battle Pass progression, because like for me, I think that's another one of the things of I've liked just dipping into it and playing it for a little bit, like before I go to bed every night. Just knock out those missions. Just get those missions done, get your XP, especially because like the season's going until May. It's like you will really have to try to not get all of it. Like, this is like going to be, because like they extended the season by 3 months. It's supposed to be 2 months, but it's going to be 5 months for that first season, just so they can knock out a bunch of bugs. Because I think for them, when they do season 2, that's going to be the real season 1. Because I feel like for them it almost would have been better if they called it like season 0. Like right now, Battlefield 2042, there's no real season pass until January. That's going to be their first like kind of launcher for that. So like I think their plan is to really learn everything from the feedback and everything. And so that way they can launch with Forge, they can launch with co-op, they can launch with a season pass that's going to be either super nostalgia baity or have like just enough like progression and stuff that's going to like tie people in there. Because like I think at its core, its progression's good enough, at least for someone like me who likes playing shooters. Like it's like, give me a couple challenges. I know people like and miss that thing of like you're always getting XP and all of your kills really matter. But I think for like the lowest common denominator of people who are just like, I just want to play, it's already doing its job. It's just like you're not unlocking a lot, but that's also because there's not a lot to unlock.
Yeah, the only problem is people
I still
who
think
only go for the missions and they don't actually play the objective.
Yes.
Super frustrating, man. Everyone, when I play oddball, they're like actively trying to not get the ball.
Oh,
I'm
I know.
like, what are you guys doing, man?
I don't understand that. So I end up getting all the points, and I feel good about myself. But
the amount of times I've played big team battle, capture the flag, and you would think it's Team Slayer. It's like guys, the flag. It's right there. Just go. Just get it. All you got to do is just do the thing.
Are you getting
I'm not gonna lie,
cases of uneven teams? Like,
No.
I had 4 versus 2.
I've maybe at worst had 4v3 and a big team battle with like 2 missing. Although I'm still really low level, so I'm assuming it's super easy for me to queue up with people. I assume it's skill-based matchmaking. I don't know how they do their autofills and stuff.
No clue. Yeah, does anyone know how that works? Or
no, I know that there's a problem where there's more like top tier players than like the lowest tier. So somehow they're top heavy. I don't know.
Yeah, that was one of the things that it takes a while for me to get into matches, which I was surprised about. Kind of going back into, I wonder if because I didn't jump into multiplayer early, well, not like I could have, like there's not as many just level 1s as you would think, which is interesting for a free to play game. Because like if you look at it, there's thousands of people playing this game all the time. So like player base isn't a problem. It's just I think because of how long it's been open, it's like it's almost been pretty much live for a month now, just the multiplayer. That core there has been so hungry and stuff to get everything done. So that's been a weird one. I think modes that's going to naturally kind of fix itself because really like no offense to Halo 5 and even MCC, Halo has not been this relevant since maybe Halo 4. And I mean that in a way of like I'm hearing people talk about Halo in a way I've never heard about them being talked about. And Halo 5 had a lot of stigma going against it. A lot of it earned. A lot of it kind of just pre-canned. MCC, I heard almost no one make that was their first Halo. Like that was a Halo game for fans. Which is funny because like I think it's still, especially now, like that's one of like the all-time greatest collections in games. Like next to like Rare Replay and stuff like that. Like that's just such a deal, even with just those 4 games in there. But like that's a commitment of like buying those games. That's kind of one of like you have a lot of baggage going into it. Whereas then looking at Infinite, it's free. It's free. Almost everything has it. And the game, unless you go into those modes and learn it, which those modes are there to teach you how the game plays in all of its modes, but it's not mandatory. If you just want to mash your way into quick play, you're probably just going to be like, okay, what does this do? What does this do? Why am I sliding? And there's like, so like right now, I think like, let's say, because a large amount of Halo's audience right now actually is people kind of coming off of Warzone, even though Warzone just did a big map with Call of Duty. So you're seeing a larger influx of all these new players who've maybe only ever played Call of Duty or only ever played Battlefield. Oh, there's a huge amount of people who are like, oh, Battlefield's a dumpster fire this year? Let's go to the free game that everyone loves. So yeah, a lot of Call of Duty and a lot of Battlefield people who are like, okay, I need to learn how this game plays, which might mean I'm just going to play the mode. I'm going to play this match as more of a tutorial and not actually try and like score points.
Yeah, I do find myself, Spencer, it's funny you say this. I compare every collection on every system for every game series to MCC. That's how much I have respect for that collection.
Yeah, and also, so to the mismatched teams, I actually thought it was going to be a feature that bots would fill those places. Maybe that's going to be coming in a different season. Because I thought that was
because bots are in the game. I was there's
maybe that's
off
season 2 because the bots learn as they go. So maybe they're waiting for people to like play a long time and they'll have better bots. I don't know.
Oh, this is very weird. Although talking about multiplayer, has anyone here actually done split screen? Because if you look it up, I thought this was so weird. I thought there wasn't any split screen in Infinite, and if like you just do a Google search, it says there's no split screen in Infinite. But if you actually do it, it supports it.
It's in multiplayer.
Has anyone tried split screen multiplayer at all, perchance?
Not on couch co-op. I think Chris, didn't we play with someone in the beta? Chris, are you still there? I think we played with Zang Helios on multiplayer over live.
So I did about maybe an hour or so of split screen multiplayer today. I really like it. The performance and stuff holds up really, really well at 60 still in the X. But the one thing I think was really weird about it is, have you done split screen in MCC before?
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a full. Like there's no black space. There's all that. For whatever reason, split screen on MCC is better than Infinite, at least in terms of screen real estate. There's a lot of dead space that's just, it's black. And I'm guessing a lot of that is like having to adjust the HUD and other things like that. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those weird ones of like, I'm glad it's there. Because it's always like that one thing of like, I wish you could just jump into it and have a friend play with you. I will say there is actually one other negative about Infinite. Having split screen is nice. There's no guest in split screen. So now that everything's tied to the battle pass, much like Call of Duty, if you want to play split screen, they have to log into an account. There's no way to just get like a burner account, which is weird because I think if you wanted just to show someone,
you're right.
Because like in Master Chief Collection, you can just add a guest and just have like any rando be your split screen. So I hope they add stuff like that because it's like, I mean, luckily the friend I was playing with had an Xbox account, but it's one of those things of like, if I just wanted to like hand someone the controller, I feel like they shouldn't have to make a live account just to play like split screen Halo Infinite with me.
But it's free, Spencer. You got to give.
I will say though, seriously, like in terms of free to play shooters, I've played a lot. I played a lot of them out there. This is like one of not only like the best, especially in terms of launches. This is like the most satisfying. Like I've had so many moments while playing Infinite where I will literally pop off. Like my favorite one is like whatever the spike gun it is, like the big like nailer, like the splitter or whatever. Yeah. When I get long across the map shots with that thing, immediate hard on. Like it's just the most satisfying feeling.
It's awesome in the campaign too. It's really satisfying to hit grunts with it.
Yeah, I have to say the guns in the campaign I'm very satisfied with. I've really enjoyed playing the campaign because the guns are good. Yeah.
Speaking of campaign though and multiplayer, it's clear the campaign is set up for split screen or playing with a buddy because there's so many times when you come across like there'll be two of something or you'll find a warthog and it's clear it's like in this moment it'd be perfect to hop in with your buddy. So I'm pretty certain they had it working. It just clearly must not have been up to Joe Staten's, liking. So he ripped it out for a later launch.
Yeah, I think really they probably had it working and they had some issues with FPS or the internet connections for online play weren't quite right or the respawns were trash. Something about multiplayer on launch for co-op campaign wasn't working.
You guys know that like there's no way in hell they're ever going to add local split screen campaign to this, right? Like if they didn't
they have to.
They never did it. They never did it for 5. If they never did it for 5, why would they do it for Infinite?
Because they said they weren't going to for 5, but they literally said like launch year of 5. They have to do it.
They've said for Infinite they will do local co-op for story.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, co-op. I will say this though, I will defend them for some of the multiplayer stuff they're a little behind on. Like if you think Halo Infinite has any multiplayer qualms, Battlefield 2042 launched without scoreboards or voice chat. That's a $70 multiplayer only game. Call of Duty, as much as I love Vanguard this year, which is very much an outlier statement, that you can't even pause unless you're in single player campaign. Not even in solo zombies, you can't even pause. They're patching and pausing after 2 months. Like so, like
That's
like
bad.
I mean, it's serviceable because like it's such a niche thing. Like I can get why it's there, but like the only one I won't give them a pass on for Halo, unless they've said a reason, and I know they haven't. There's no reason online co-op couldn't have launched with this, because like you look at like it can't even be the map, it can't be the size of the game, it can't even be the engine unless they say something. But like a great example is I played this game right before I got Halo. I played a lot of Far Cry 6. I finally jumped into my copy. By the way, if you like Far Cry, because that game has not gotten a lot of press, but it's in pretty favorably. That's like one of the best first-person shooters I've played all year. Like Far Cry 6 is very, very good. It has a Breath of the Wild moment opening the map. So it gives you a tutorial island where you're looking at it like, whew, this is a big map. I don't know how long this game's going to take me to play here. And then you zoom out and you go, oh God, I'm on the tutorial part of the map. And then you look at it and it's like the tutorial part of the map is like 1/100th of the game size. Like they literally made a continent in the map of Far Cry 6, which is completely playable in co-op. So it's like one of those things of like, unfortunately, because Microsoft is such a big studio and everything, it's like, unless you tell us why, we're going to look at other examples and be like, well, if this studio can do this and they probably have just as rough as development conditions as you, like my only thing is like, just tell us why there's no co-op. Don't say we've delayed co-op because we just can't make it work. You have to like just tell us something. Like I don't know if
there was a leak on Reddit about this a few months ago, and it really seems to line up now that I've actually played the campaign and other things have happened. That basically it was the checkpoints and the respawn. So in older Halo games, basically when you hit a checkpoint, your co-op player gets zapped to you, so you can't like be too far away from each other really, or you'll have like a play space.
I did that with one today of like as soon as you hit a checkpoint, you're instanced right away to the next area.
Yeah.
And I think that's a loading thing, so that the area is never like you're not loading too much into the Xbox's RAM.
Yeah, so that makes total sense for that. But like now in an open environment, it's like the whole concept is you can attack a base from multiple angles. So you want like one person in a Warthog, another person in a tank, or maybe a Banshee or something. You're attacking two different angles. And, you know, where's the checkpoint there? So if one dies, where do they respawn at? Like, should they do like a Destiny thing, which I think makes the most sense? And also like how far away can they get? Can they like go and tackle two different fobs at the same time? So that's like them trying to tackle that problem is what delayed it because they couldn't figure it out in time. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that makes sense. I still I'm excited to see how they figure it out because I think
they should just set a limit to the distance you can be apart from your partner. Like one person's main and the other person's henchman, like Fable. And like when you hit the end of the draw distance, like that person gets zapped to their partner. Like boom, done. So like you could have the base set within the draw distance.
You haven't been on the ring yet. You'll understand why this is a problem once you get there.
Yeah. How do you prioritize who gets? Yeah, that's hard because, like, for example, it's not like Halo where progression, like you're 67% into the level versus the other guy's 50% zapped to him. Whereas, like, as you were saying, well, like, okay, I'm in a Warthog. Strategically, I'm in a stronger position. Like, how does the game know how to prioritize? I think that's fair. That's a tough challenge, man, for sure.
So, Will or Damon, I don't know how you could really answer this without kind of being too spoilery or specific. How instanced are the zones? Because I know it's not totally open world. I know there's loading in between areas. Like, how, like, would you say on a scale like of comparing it maybe to other maps? Like, when you're in that first zone, how big does that actually feel? Like, does it feel like you go a long while before you need to load into a new area?
I haven't had to load it at all. I'm on the first island, I guess. Well, you're probably the same as me. And I just tried to, like just now, to get to a fob that's on a different island. And I tried to see if I could grapple shot there. And you can't.
No, but once you get Banshees, you can just fly to them.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like it's a boundary just because you don't have the right vehicle.
Okay. So basically my thing is this, is there an invisible wall at some point that then is like, hey, you need to enter through this door to get to this part of the map?
There is one. So that first island, you'll need to cross a bridge the first time, just because. So I guess it's kind of a loading. You don't load; you just have to cross the bridge because that's the only way to cross. There is like portions where you fight bosses and stuff where there is a loading because you have like a little boss intro.
Yeah, that's going to be like you're going into like an area or whatever.
But no, other than that, there's been no loading.
It does despawn stuff, so I stepped away from. So on the bridge that Will was talking about, I had a Warthog filled with Marines, and I stepped off the bridge to see if I could grapple shot away. So I stepped like 50 meters away in game, and I looked back and they were gone. So unless they all jumped out of the Warthog and like it fell into the chasm, which was hilarious, I'm gonna assume they all despawned.
Yeah, that's probably true. I haven't tried to drive over that with Marines, so I don't know.
Do you guys think, by the way, talking about co-op, do you think there will be ambitious enough to try and do 4? Because I just am assuming they're going to do 2.
No, I think they'll do 2. I don't think.
My thing is this though, with like how 4-player co-op centric 5 was, is that going to look like a downgrade? Because think about it, they've not gone back from 4 players. Let's see, so 3 Reach was also 4-player, right?
Yep.
So 3 Reach, 4, 5. So like
I don't know. Is ODST 4?
There's no co-op in ODST, is there?
Yes, there is.
Oh, see, I always thought ODST's campaign was just like yourself.
No, I mean it's meant to be that way because it's isolating. But I do believe there is at least co-op, if not 4-player co-op.
I definitely have. I remember doing it, so maybe it's a false memory, but I'm pretty certain.
Okay, it's ODST is 2-player co-op. It looks like, unless co-op.
So ODST came out after Reach.
I'm a liar.
No.
2-player split screen.
ODST came out before Reach, Chris.
2-player split screen.
It did,
but 4-player online co-op.
Oh man,
so
I
just
thought
like
Reach
3.
was after. Okay, never mind.
Never forget, Chris, by the way, ODST was supposed to just be DLC. Like, you guys remember when they announced ODST? It was like, guys, this is going to be the best DLC you've ever paid. And then Microsoft was like, that needs to be a game. We need to sell that for $40.
That's not how that went down. It was that Bungie wanted out, and they asked, could that be one of their 2 games before they leave?
I forgot about the which was so funny because I remember actually at the time, because people kind of viewed ODST as like it was good quality and stuff for it, but I remember because people thought they wanted to just make that count as a game, I remember people were really worried Reach was going to be phoned in, which was so funny considering how loved Reach it is.
Reach is actually one of my least favorites out of my favorite. Well, let me take that back.
Well,
it's
like
my least favorite
I
of the
think
Bungie
in terms
games.
of at least I say this, Reach, I think campaign-wise, I hear people talk about very well a lot. Multiplayer-wise, I hear a lot of complaints from Reach.
I like the multiplayer, but I remember those comments. A lot of my friends stopped playing Halo when Reach came out because they jetpacks and everything. But I liked it. I don't know.
I remember when the beta for Reach dropped, and I tried it with the jetpack, and I played like maybe 5 minutes of the beta, and I got the jetpack and I tried it. I was like, this ain't for me. And I turned it off and really never played the multiplayer for Reach.
I love the jetpack. I would every time. So like I was screaming to my microphone every time a game would start and be like jetpack, because you could select what you wanted. That was so lame. Lame.
Here's a weird specific to Infinite question: is this new? That like feeling of inertia when you're running, grappling, jumping, and then you get to like another little thing you can kind of like where it'll keep that little speed as you're like hopping from like platform, get in there for it. Cause like that, like it's almost like Titanfall light. It's not fully like I'm feeling like I'm jumping around. Like I still feel like there's weight there, but they do a really good job with the way the movement in Infinite feels of like, you still feel heavy, but when you do run and you are mantling up a wall, like to like get over something and then to like immediately then run jump again, that like flow feels really, really nice. I'm surprised like how well that felt. I was wondering like, was that in there before? Because I know running is far from new.
No, I think the movement...
Halo Infinite definitely has the best movement in my opinion. Yeah. Any Halo game, for sure. Halo Infinite is just like buttery smooth.
Oh, here's a weird
feels
one.
like if Halo 3
should
launched
the slide
today, I think it would play
used
like
more? Because every time I think of the slide in Infinite, I'm like, I don't know when to use this, so I just never slide.
Oh man, I slide all the time. It's so fun.
Yeah. I see people doing in multiplayer. I never end up sliding myself, but I like it because it like adds a challenge to me shooting them. And I always feel like when I kill them on their slide, it kind of like pisses them off a little bit more because they're like,
It's like when you have that split second of someone's like, I'm gonna melee you and I'm gonna kill you so easy. And like, boop.
Yeah. Well, it's like I slid all the time in Halo 5, so I'm not really sure why I'm not doing it in Halo Infinite, but I never do.
No jetpacks. That's why you were like, "Where's my jetpack?"
My favorite thing about Infinite so far, it's not even gameplay related. It has nothing to do with the game. It was a Reddit post. This guy posted on Reddit. He said, "Why do all these people keep twerking on me when they kill me?"
You know, someone's a truly deranged individual when they're playing campaign. And they're still teabagging when they kill someone. That's how you know someone's truly had a bad day when they go to a grunt.
The video that someone put on Twitter where they're like, it looks like they're just humping the brute. It's like that looks so long.
That one,
like the butt is jiggling.
That one's just that's just dirty. That's a different. Because like the worst part about that was like that's like literally set up out of like a stepbrother porn parody thing of like what's up because like his body's like halfway into the texture of the wall. Mm-hmm. So it's like what's going on, step bro? I need help getting out of here. Why are you doing behind me? Oh, I will say one thing from everything I've heard about Infinite that you guys can probably attest to in the campaign compared to 1, because I know 1 is so story-like compared to everything else. I am so ready for NPCs to talk. Like, Halo 1 is so fucking quiet all the time, and it's like so weird to me of like, there's so much personality in the enemies. Like, the Covenant are so interesting in the way, and like, the Marines will talk, but the Marines aren't going to fucking hang around like long enough because they die after like 5 minutes or whatever. So like I always find myself being like, I think that Halo 1 would have had so much more personality if like the grunts like because like I love and I never get sick of it of like them running away. Like when a grunt is running away, like that's such a satisfying like thing to watch or like kill them with or even mess around with them. But like it's so weird to me that they're just like. Whereas, like, I love everything I've been hearing about, like, how much dialogue there is from the enemies in Infinite. Like, is that nice?
They never stop talking. It's great, and they taunt you, and it's just wonderful. Or they'll like, they'll taunt you, and then you shoot their buddy, and they're like, "Oh crap!" and they start running away, and they'll scream. It's great.
Yeah, I always loved killing like the leader of whatever pack the grunts were traveling in, and then all of a sudden they're all just flailing their arms, turning around, running. But then the jackals will stay.
Yeah, the grunts are more like don't run away as much in this game, and they actually hit you, which is something new. I don't think they've ever done that before.
Can anyone explain this to me? Maybe this is a Halo 1 thing, or if this continues. Why are grunts always sleeping? I'm always amazed. I'll go into an area and like, why is he sleeping in the hallway?
Because they're terrible at their job. That's the whole point. That's really what it is.
It's like there's a narrative there's a narrative gap with Halo 1 of like I know grunts are supposed to be silly, but no one in the game acts like they are. And like outside of them acting silly, there's never like a moment of like I feel like we need to like stop treating the grunts as a big of a deal as the elites. Because like when I have like an elite or like the hunters who are like the really, really big ones, like when a hunter's there, I'm like, whoa my god. Whereas like I could turn every corner in Halo 1 and be like, cool, boop, boop. Like I have there's no emotion in Halo 1 when I see a grunt. It's like, okay, blap, blap, blap.
Mm-hmm. That only changes when you get
I have to ask this question to you.
Okay.
The jackals. Have they always talked about eating the humans? Or is this just a new thing in Infinite?
Are the jackals like the guys I see a lot in Halo 1 with the shields?
Yes.
Okay, is there ever a moment in Halo story where they're like, here's this enemy, here's this enemy, here's that? Because I'm at the point now where like I know a warthog, I know a ghost, but I'm like, I don't know half of the vehicle names, and I feel like such an idiot. I'm like, I don't know what that is. And my friend's like, that's a piranha.
I literally think I know it because I read the manual. I don't think they don't say the names.
I know it's all in the manual, but unfortunately, my copy of Master Chief Collection very manualist.
Yes, exactly. Hmm.
So none of the games are ever like
Special
this
Edition,
is this enemy.
In Halo 3 Special Edition, they have an art book that has like all the enemies called out. If I remember correctly, all the different species.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that's the only time they ever did that too.
No, that's not true. So Halo 2 definitely had it, and Halo 1 had it
too.
too.
Did they? Okay.
Not all of the species, because like the Halo 3 one talks about things you never
3
see.
had all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
But,
here's a weird one. I'd be curious about what you guys think of this. With I'm trying to think about it. For like, I guess like in terms of like the lore and stuff for it, because I know one is just so different compared to all the rest of them for it. And would you guys say is Infinite more of an evolution even to what like 4 and 5 were doing in terms of dialogue? Like, does it? Because I think when games go open world, you kind of go in one of two routes of like your Red Dead Redemption 2 and there's lore everywhere, or your Breath of the Wild and there's no lore and you have to hunt for every little scrap of lore. Like, so where would you say Infinite's at in terms of is it doing more or less?
I think it's
do more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean Breath of the Wild. So I always assumed that Breath of the Wild was a reaction to. You guys have seen Ego Raptor's video on what makes Zelda Zelda, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I know it's not a reaction, but yes, I have seen that.
Yeah, well, I just think it's a good paradigm to view it. Like people wanted more exploration, more freedom, and without having to be locked in. Versus, I think Halo. With Halo, you have to have lore. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lore-heavy franchise, so I think it's more Red Dead.
It's kind of the oddball when it comes to shooters, though, because not like Halo is one of the first, in my opinion, shooters to have like in-your-face lore. I don't remember any other shooter having as much lore and continuity as Halo.
Yeah, and then
Doom's got some lore, but like.
Oh,
really?
see, I was gonna say something like a Wolfenstein. Like the new Wolfenstein games have a ton of lore.
Yeah, but those are new Wolfenstein. What was doing this?
That's
Halo
true.
1 and 2 came out?
Something as long running as Halo, yeah, Halo probably has. I mean, God knows Half-Life could have, but they would have to like keep making games for that lore to actually still matter after all these years. Yeah, in terms of FPSs, that's tough because like there's a lot of modern examples, but nothing that's gone on as long as Halo. Like Dishonored's got a lot of lore. Even Deathloop has got like Arcane does a lot of lore, heavy stuff. Killzone has a lot of lore, but all those series have either stopped or have